In the last video we looked at making the first part of the factory building, and as you can see it fits in on the layout quite well. There will be a track coming around the front here, in front of the loading bay, so there will be opportunity for some wagons to be parked there, which just gives a bit more interest. The area to the right, it's not been painted yet, is where the other half of the factory will go, so I'm going to make a start now on building the other half of that factory building. And you can come along for the ride, and I'll probably do quite a bit of it on time lapse or time warp or whatever it's called, so that it's not quite so boring. Anyway, hope you'll join us for this part of the build. Already made a bit of a start on this part of the building. I've got the walls of the building and I've put the bracing pieces on. They've dried, and now it's a matter of sorting out the windows. I sorted out the glazing to check I've got all the right pieces, and then I've got the inserts to go in as well. So that's what's the next task is going to be, to stick a whole load of window frames and glazing in and then see how that looks. So we'll go into fast mode for this, I think. Back to normal speed, and we have the windows mounted in one of the gable ends. I'm now going to do the rest of the walls. It's take a little while, so switch off now while I get on with it. Right, well that's all the glazing fitted and it's hopefully dried. So now we're into folding up the building, and got to fold it round the ground floor so that it sits on top of the tabs. Hopefully you can see that. Goes on like that and dry, and then we can fit the door. Okay, so I'm going to put some guard glue on the joints. Afraid you might not see so much of this as we go round, but we'll give it a whirl. Okay, so that's pushed right in. It's just pushed hard down onto the tabs at the side. Seems to be. And the door. So there we are. That's the first half of the building. And so what does it say I've got to do next? Fit the door, and then underneath the floor goes a little V-shaped piece to support the floor, keep it rigid. And I can see that in a moment or two I'm going to have to make a decision again whether I want to light this building, and if so, how I'm going to do it. So I think we'll do the door, V-shaped spacer, and then we'll have a pause while we think about that. Well, after a bit of thought, I thought if I'm going to put lights in, put them in when I'm building it, because I can't put them in afterwards. So I've decided I will fit lights. I've put one on each of the lower two floors. I've just put the second floor in, and just waiting while glue dries. Once the glue is all dried, then I'll work on the roof and putting the last light up into the roof. Check they work, so that's all right. So you can't see a lot from that angle, but I'll show you what I've done once it's all dried. Back in a moment. Okay, so down at the bottom, on the top of the ground floor, I've put a bridge rectifier. That's feeding an LED which is behind that bottom brown spacer. Wires then go up to the next level where there's another LED behind the spacer in the middle, and then on the top floor there's an LED hanging from the ceiling. Just need to tidy up the wires a little bit. And as you can see, I've put the roof on now. So we have the roof and the various floors all in. So I'm now going to let that all dry for a good hour or so before trying to put the back wall on and then finish off the roof and the coping stones. Next job is, I believe, to put the rear wall on. So just need to tidy up the wires a little bit. Check that light in the top. Check it's pointing down. It is. Okay, so I think we can now try the building. There we go, that looks okay. Just need to get it to line up, that'll do. Right, so some glue. Just double check the instructions, there's nothing I've missed. I've done the roof, I've got to fit the, done the doors. Don't seem to be any spare pieces. So you can start. Running some glue around the various surfaces where it's going to likely to touch. Okay. That's actually the back, which is facing the back seam, so it doesn't actually matter. I've got a bit of glue on it, but try to keep it neat. That's good. And now somewhere on one of these pieces we have some corners to go on, like the other building. So 2 pieces there. 2 here. So while the building's on its back, I might as well do the first 2. Just tidy those up. So that's going to go on that corner. Tidy it up. Okay. Bead of glue. Managed to get some glue on my finger, typical, isn't it? There you are. It's amazing, really, how card can be so rigid once it's all assembled and glued the joints and everything. It's certainly a good little model. Right, so do this bit. And I think I did say on the other video, these card kits are very well made. They do work well, accurately cut and everything. Okay, well, I'll get on with putting the other 2 on, putting some of the coping stones on, and come back to you in a few moments. Right, coping stones on, little roof over the hoist doors on, roof's in place, just need to let that dry a bit, and then there is just the matter of building the steps to come down and putting it on the layout. Looking good. So building's now in place and lights are on. Still just got these steps to do. The glue's just drying on the plastic for the steps, and that will then finish that off. Let's see what it looks like with the lights off. Well, it certainly lights up. Need to do a little bit about the north lights shining up onto the back scene, but yeah, it lights up and it's adds a bit of character. So that's good, and I think that'll do for this one. I'll just in a minute or two take a still of the steps when they're in place.